Ark of the Covenant. Ancient Israel, around 1000 BCE. A gold-plated wooden chest stands at the center of every battle. The Ark of the Covenant. Texts say anyone who touches it dies instantly. Not just dies, bodies collapse with fire-like light flashing around them. The handling rules were extreme. No direct contact, only long wooden poles, only trained priests allowed near it. Every description repeats the same idea, a thunder-like discharge. In one battle, the ark is carried forward. Enemy soldiers report the ground vibrating, the air turning hot, and blue streaks dancing over the box. Troops panic and scatter before swords even clash. The scene reads like a high-voltage arc blast. The ark's construction raises eyebrows. Wood core, gold plating inside and outside, separated layers, insulated carrying rods, and mysterious objects stored inside. This layout strongly resembles a primitive capacitor capable of storing massive static charge. Some accounts say opening the ark released a cloud and a line of fire. Modern translation? Ionized air plus electrical arc stream. One story claims soldiers standing several feet away were struck as if hit by an invisible force. That's exactly how electrostatic arc leap or directed discharge behaves when charge jumps unexpectedly from a high energy source. Tesla coils generate blue, finger-like bolts that hiss and crack. Descriptions of the ark match this almost perfectly. Blue fire dancing on its surface. Ancient writers called it the voice of God, but the technical science describes something else. Lethal to touch, capable of distant strikes, emits thunder, heat, and blue arcs, requires insulated handling. All of these match a high-energy electrical device, not a simple religious chest. Maybe it was sacred. Maybe it was a weapon. But ordinary objects do not kill on contact or blast armies with electric shockwaves. The ark might have been many things: divine artifact, ritual instrument, or misunderstood technology. But one conclusion is hard to ignore. This was no normal box. Odin's all-seeing eye. Scandinavia, around 800 CE. The Norse believed that Odin saw everything, every war, every betrayal, every secret meeting. His power came from the eye he sacrificed. Odin's all-seeing eye. Myths say the eye travels across the sky, watches the world, and sends knowledge back to Odin. Descriptions use strange phrases for a medieval society: rises upward, moves by unseen paths, circles the world. That sounds less like magic and more like an orbiting object. Odin, seated on his throne, could instantly know distant events. In modern terms, real-time surveillance feed. Norse poems call the eye the wandering star of the Allfather, a small light drifting across the night sky, never stopping. In today's language, that is almost exactly a satellite glint. Another description says the eye watches day and night without rest. That is literally 24/7 satellite monitoring. The eye is also linked to Mimir's well, a mystical source of knowledge. Symbolically, that is a central data hub feeding Odin information gathered by a roaming sensor. The Norse could not grasp orbital mechanics, yet they wrote, "It circles the entire world." That is shockingly specific. Did they imagine it? Or did ancient Scandinavians see some strange moving light in the sky? Slow, steady, not a star, not a comet, and turn it into myth? The pattern lines up. A single glowing object in the sky, continuous world watching, returning information to a central god, described as circling Earth, never tiring, never stopping. This reads like a medieval eyewitness account of something they did not understand, something very similar to satellite surveillance. The simple story of the Nazca lines. Between 500 BCE and 500 CE, there was an ancient civilization in what is now Peru, the Nazca people. They created huge drawings on the desert ground, known as the Nazca lines. These drawings stretch across hundreds of square kilometers and include shapes, animals, and various patterns. To see these drawings properly, you have to look from above, like from a mountaintop or the sky. Standing on the ground, you can't see the full picture. The Nazca people made these drawings by removing reddish pebbles from the desert surface to reveal the lighter colored soil underneath. Some lines are just a few meters wide, while some animal figures are over 200 meters long. They used simple tools like wooden stakes and ropes to draw straight and curved lines. Archaeologists say they measured very carefully so that the drawing stayed accurate even over large areas. But no one knows exactly why they made these lines. Some say they were for religious ceremonies. Others believe they were used to track the sun or stars. And some think they helped find water sources. A few lines even match the direction of sunrise, pathways, or water locations. Roman Dodecahedron. Almost 1800 years back, during the Roman Empire, a strange kind of object started appearing across Europe. These were small, hollow metal items with 12 faces. Each face had 5 sides, known as a pentagon. This object is called the Roman Dodecahedron. They were usually made of bronze and were quite small, about 4 to 11 centimeters in size. These have been found in different parts of present-day Germany, France, and Britain. Each face had a circular hole in the center, and the size of the holes varied from one face to another. Some dodecahedra had small knobs at the corners, while others were plain. They were made with such precision that it shows Roman craftsmen were highly skilled in metalwork and geometry. But the big question is, what were these used for? Even today, no one knows for sure. Researchers have suggested many ideas. Maybe they were used for measuring things. Maybe they were stands for holding candles. Maybe they were used by soldiers. Maybe they were part of religious ceremonies. Some even say they could be tools for observing stars. Some scientists have tried using them in different ways, but the results are mixed. There's no solid proof of any one use, so they remain a mystery. Many dodecahedra have been found in Roman settlements and army camps. Interestingly, the ones found in faraway places look almost the same. Today's researchers think they might have been used for calculations, measurements, or adjusting instruments. But even now, we don't know exactly what they were meant for. Chinese Seismoscope. In 132 CE, the renowned Chinese scientist and engineer Zhang Heng invented a device that could detect distant earthquakes. This instrument was called a seismoscope, one of the earliest known earthquake detecting machines in the world. The device looked like a bronze vessel surrounded by 8 dragon heads. Each dragon held a metal ball in its mouth, and beneath each dragon was a frog-shaped receiver. When an earthquake occurred far away, the pendulum inside the device would shift, causing a ball to drop from a specific dragon's mouth into the frog's mouth below. This indicated the direction from which the earthquake had come. Historical records state that the device successfully detected several distant earthquakes. As a result, the Han Empire could quickly send aid to affected regions. Zhang Heng's invention was an example of experimental engineering used to observe natural phenomena. It was created centuries before modern seismology, showing how advanced ancient Chinese science truly was. Roman hydraulic mining. In ancient times, the Romans used water to extract gold from a mountainous area in Spain called Las Medulas. They diverted water from nearby rivers through aqueducts, channeling it into large reservoirs built in the hills. Then they released the water all at once, allowing the powerful flow to wash away soil and rocks, exposing the gold veins hidden beneath. To make this process work, they had to carefully calculate the volume, pressure, and timing of the water. Roman engineers constructed terraces, tunnels, and drainage systems to ensure the mining operation ran smoothly. Archaeological research shows that the Romans conducted extensive experiments with water flow, terrain structure, and labor coordination. Olmec crystal skulls. Between 900 and 400 BCE, there was an ancient civilization in Mexico called the Olmec. They created some astonishing objects, skulls made of crystal known as crystal skulls. These skulls were carved from a hard stone called quartz. Some were small enough to fit in the palm of a hand, while others were larger. They were cut and polished with incredible precision. The surfaces of the skulls were smooth, the eye sockets perfectly shaped and the teeth finely detailed. Researchers believe that Olmec craftsmen may have gradually sculpted these using harder minerals through abrasion. Microscopic studies show that achieving such a high level of polish would have required a great deal of time, patience, and deep knowledge of materials. But the question remains, what were these skulls used for? No one knows the answer for sure. Some say they were used in religious ceremonies. Others believe they symbolized power or status. There are also theories that they were tools for studying light, vibration, or the properties of quartz. Modern scientists say that creating such precise skulls using ancient technology is nearly impossible. This proves that the Olmecs were not just artists, they were experimenters and observers who crafted through trial and exploration. Viking Sunstones. Between the 9th and 11th century CE, Norse sailors from northern Europe crossed stormy seas. They traveled across the North Atlantic Ocean, where the sky was often cloudy or the sun had already set. Yet they could still navigate with remarkable accuracy. How? A mysterious tool comes to light, called the sunstone. It was a special kind of stone that could manipulate sunlight in a unique way. Research and ancient Norse legends suggest that these stones were made from a polarizing crystal known as Icelandspar, which helped sailors detect the sun's position. Sailors would rotate the sunstone and observe the patterns of light and shadow it created. By analyzing how intense the light was and which direction it pointed, they could figure out where the sun was. But this wasn't easy. A slight change in angle could alter the result, so they needed careful testing, close observation, and a good understanding of how light behaves. The method of using a sunstone involved holding the crystal properly, rotating it to observe the light intensity, and then deducing the sun's direction. These stones were lightweight, easy to carry, and durable, perfect for long ocean voyages. The Baghdad Battery. In the 1930s, German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig was conducting excavations in a village called Qujut Rabu near Baghdad, Iraq. During the dig, he discovered a strange object buried beneath layers of earth. It was a small clay jar, roughly the size of a modern cup. Inside the jar was a copper cylinder, which held an iron rod. At first glance, it seemed like an ordinary container, but upon closer inspection, it was clear that the object was crafted with remarkable precision. Historians and scientists quickly realized it could be an extraordinary example of ancient technology. When filled with an acidic liquid like vinegar or lemon juice, the combination of copper and iron produced a small but measurable electric current. This discovery surprised many. Electricity was formally discovered in the 18th century, so how could such a device exist so long before? Research suggests that the battery dates back to around 250 BCE, during the Parthian period in Mesopotamia. At that time, the region was a center of trade and knowledge, connecting cultures from the Mediterranean to the Indian subcontinent. Who built this device, and what was its exact purpose? That remains unknown. Some believe it may have been used for electroplating metals. Others think it had religious significance, and some suggest it was used for medical or magical practices. These clay jars are still fragile but intact, and they are preserved in museums in Baghdad and Berlin. Archimedes Death Ray. In 212 BCE, the city of Syracuse in Sicily came under attack by the Roman army. The responsibility of defending the city was given to the famous Greek mathematician, engineer, and inventor Archimedes. He was not only skilled in mathematics, but also brilliant at designing mechanical devices. According to historical writings by Lucian and Galen, Archimedes used a device that could set enemy ships on fire. This device is known as the Death Ray. It consisted of a series of polished bronze mirrors that focused sunlight onto a single point. The mirrors were arranged in such a way that the concentrated solar rays could ignite wooden ships. During the siege, some witnesses reported seeing smoke and flames rising from Roman vessels. However, modern researchers question how effective this method truly was. In the 20th and 21st century, scientists attempted to recreate this technique. Some small-scale experiments successfully ignited stationary wooden targets under ideal conditions, but failed to affect moving ships. Archimedes didn't only build the Death Ray, he also designed catapults, cranes, and other mechanical devices to resist the Roman invasion. Whether the Death Ray was fully functional or later exaggerated, it reflects the innovative and experimental mindset of Greek science. Eventually, the city of Syracuse fell to the Romans, and Archimedes was killed during the attack. As a result, his opportunity to create more inventions was lost forever. Roman concrete. Nearly 2,000 years ago, Roman engineers developed a type of concrete that still survives today. The Pantheon in Rome, the Colosseum, aqueducts, and harbors all still stand, as if time has barely touched them. While modern concrete often crumbles within a few decades, Roman concrete actually grows stronger over time. The secret of Roman concrete lies in its ingredients. They mixed lime, volcanic ash, and stones or broken bricks. When water was added, a chemical reaction began, slowly forming crystals. These crystals helped reinforce the structure. For coastal buildings, they used seawater, which sped up the crystal formation. As a result, Roman harbors became extremely resistant to waves and erosion. Amazingly, this concrete could even heal its own cracks over time, something modern concrete rarely does. The Romans built wooden formworks to shape the concrete precisely. They used a special volcanic ash called pozzolana, found only in Italy, which made the concrete last much longer. Modern research has found a rare crystal called aluminum tobormerite in Roman harbors and breakwaters. It forms under specific chemical conditions and makes the concrete even stronger. Thanks to this durable concrete, Roman architects were able to build massive domes, arches, and roofs. For example, the Dome of the Pantheon, completed in 126 CE, still stands today as the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world. Greek fire. In the 7th century CE, the Byzantine Empire faced repeated naval attacks from Arab fleets. To protect their ships and harbors, the Byzantines developed a terrifying flame-based weapon, Greek fire. Historical records suggest it was first used around 672 CE and remained one of the most important tools in Byzantine naval warfare for centuries. This fiery weapon was deployed through siphons mounted on ships as well as handheld devices. It allowed soldiers to launch flames directly onto enemy vessels. Eyewitnesses wrote that enemy ships were engulfed in flames that couldn't be extinguished with water alone. This shows just how destructive and unique the weapon truly was. Byzantine engineers developed special delivery systems to make Greek fire more effective. Liquid fire could be forcefully projected through siphons, and grenade-like jars were used for close-range combat. Despite centuries of attempts, modern scientists have still not been able to recreate its exact formula, adding to the mystery that surrounds Greek fire. Hero of Alexandria's Steam Engine. In the 1st century CE, there was a famous mathematician and engineer in the Egyptian city of Alexandria, Hero of Alexandria. He created a device that could generate rotation using the power of steam. This device was called the Aeolipile, and it is considered one of the earliest examples of a steam engine in history. The Aeolipile looked like a round vessel placed over a flame. Inside the vessel was pipes attached to the sphere. The pressure from the escaping steam caused the vessel to spin. In this way, heat energy was converted into rotational energy. Hero didn't build this device for industrial use. It was meant for educational demonstrations or as an automatic temple device. But the Aeolipile shows that Hero had a deep understanding of heat, motion, and rotational mechanics. The main parts of the device were a boiler, where the water was heated, a hollow spherical vessel, 2 bent pipes through which the steam escaped. When the water started boiling, pressure built up inside the vessel. That pressure pushed the steam out through the pipes, and the force of the steam made the vessel spin. This was truly pre-modern scientific experimentation. Antikythera Mechanism. In 1901, a group of Greek sponge divers discovered the remains of a shipwreck beneath the sea near the island of Antikythera. Inside the wreckage, they found a corroded bronze object that initially appeared to be nothing more than a cluster of gears and metal plates. But later research revealed that it was an ancient mechanical calculating device, now known as the Antikythera Mechanism. This device was built around 100 BCE. It contained more than 30 intricate bronze gears arranged within a compact frame. Analysis showed that it could calculate the positions of the sun and moon, the timing of eclipses, and even the dates of ancient Olympic Games. Researchers have reconstructed models of the mechanism to understand how it worked. It featured rotating dials connected to the gears. These dials translated the regular movements of celestial bodies into mechanical motion. Its design and precision were so advanced that similar clock-like devices didn't appear in Europe again until the 14th century. Even after so many centuries, no other device from that era has been found that matches the capabilities of the Antikythera mechanism. Its construction combined practical engineering skill with theoretical knowledge, blending astronomical observation with mechanical design. The mechanism was housed in a wooden frame, which held the gears and dials in proper alignment, allowing it to function as a portable astronomical calculator. Sushruta's surgical innovations. Around 600 BCE, in a region that is now part of India, a physician named Sushruta wrote a comprehensive medical text called the Sushruta Samhita. In this book, he described in detail the methods of performing surgeries, the instruments used, and various medical procedures. Many consider him the father of surgery. The Sushruta Samhita includes descriptions of more than 120 surgical instruments, such as scalpels, forceps, needles, and more. Each tool was designed for a specific purpose. Sushruta carefully outlined the steps for each operation, emphasizing cleanliness, precision, and careful observation. He also wrote about methods to reduce pain using herbal medicines, which we now refer to as anesthesia. Sushruta understood the importance of postoperative care, showing the depth of his medical knowledge. Testing, Sushruta didn't just write theories, his techniques were practically applied. Historical records show that medical students first practiced on fruits, vegetables, and animal bodies before operating on humans. This experimental training method helped reduce errors and improve surgical skills. One of Sushruta's most famous contributions was in plastic surgery, especially rhinoplasty, the reconstruction of the nose. At that time, facial mutilation was a form of punishment, so repairing the nose using skin flaps required both high surgical skill and deep anatomical understanding. Gunpowder accidents. Many years ago, during China's Tang Dynasty, some scientists and alchemists were searching for a potion to achieve immortality. They experimented by mixing different substances. One day, they combined sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. Suddenly, the mixture ignited and exploded. This was how gunpowder was born. In their laboratories, fires would sometimes break out or small explosions would occur. Some people even got injured. But from these accidents, they learned important lessons: how the mixture worked, how much was needed, and how it could be ignited. Using this gunpowder, they could shoot fire through bamboo tubes. This led to the invention of fire lances and flaming arrows, which became new weapons for warfare. This discovery helped Chinese soldiers defend fortresses, boats, and city walls.